I have sinned. I have used AI. Despite all its dangers, its risks, its pitfalls, oh, I still did it. I am a sinner. But am I the only one in this room? Well, looking at your guilty faces, I am not. You're also sinners. So I'm here to warn you against this dark path. I'm here to tell you about the 7 cardinal sins of AI. So let's start. Hallucination, the fabricator. AI produces information that seems so plausible, but sometimes is incorrect or totally made up. Just a few months ago, Google launched AI overviews, and it was recommending that if you were pregnant, you should be smoking 2 to 3 cigarettes per day, and even top that with eating 1 rock a day. Well, since then, they improved the product, but this could have caused all types of issues. Reduce trust, spread misinformation, and even cause legal and liability issues. But I want to show you another side of hallucination. Hallucination is also creativity. It's looking at something that has always been there and taking a different look. Would you ever imagine bringing an origami to life? So hallucination, it can inspire or misinform. The next one, dependence, the crutch. This idea that if we become too reliant on AI, we're going to lose all of our critical thinking. We will become numb and dumb. And it's true, we've become so intertwined with some of these technologies. Look at our smartphones, for instance. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't be able to go back and live without them. Let me give you an example. Who here remembers using this, a paper map? Raise your hands. And do you remember switching from this is a blast from the past, to this, a TomTom? Who here had a TomTom in their cars? This is the same. If you ever had to go back to a paper map or a TomTom, yes, it would be hard, but you probably would be able to adapt. So dependence. You can rely on AI or be without it. Number 3, bias, the unfair judge. AI is trained on human data, and as such, it has the potential to spread and amplify bias. How does this work? For instance, if I search for a picture of a doctor, the majority of times I'll get a picture of a man. Now, let me show you something. This is a photo finish. It was used in the Olympics, for instance, this year. Whenever there's a close call, a machine takes a picture and determines who wins. Now, do you know how the photo finish was done in the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo? 22 people looking at the finish line at the same time. Can you imagine 22 people trying to make a decision on a split second? Now, what do you think has more bias? The picture on your left or the picture on your right? And in this case, the machine spotted the bias and removed it. So bias. AI can amplify it, but it can also spot it. The next one, loss, the soul stealer. This idea that AI is going to take over all of our jobs. And jobs are such a core part of our human identity. And it's true, let's be clear, some jobs are being lost already, and more jobs will be lost. But here's why that's not necessarily only a bad thing. Let me tell you a story. When cars came to London, and they started to replace horses and horse carriages, there was a group of workers. They came out to the street in protest because they were afraid of losing their jobs. You know who these workers were? They were in charge of removing the horses' business from the street. Now, of course, they lost their jobs. There were no more horses anymore. So they had to go and pump gas and become mechanics. So their jobs transformed. And the same will happen with AI. So loss. AI can eliminate jobs or create them. The next one, greed, the resource hog. Look at the money we're pouring into AI. Just this year, we've put $500 billion. And it's projected to be 5 times that in 8 years. So it's fair to ask the question, when are we going to see the return? Now let me show you this graph. This is a company that was investing so much in infrastructure, so much in the future, they were not even profitable for 8 years. Can you guess which company is this? Any guesses? Yes?
Amazon?
This company is Amazon. At the time, they were even being laughed at. Now, question for you. Raise your hand. Who here bought something from Amazon in 2008? And who here bought something from Amazon last week? This is it. This is the future they were investing on. Now, you might ask a very, very fair question. What if this AI thing doesn't take off? Well, I would like to argue, even if AI doesn't take off, we would have developed such an incredible amount of computing power. We would be able to apply this new tech to old and new data, and that would drive incredible progress for humanity. Just this year, we were able to predict breast cancer, Parkinson's disease, and heart attack, and that would be bound to continue. So greed. We can continue to invest in AI for the future, or reap the benefit of the AI that we already have. The next one, deception, the masked trickster. AI has the potential to produce content that feels and looks so real. So how are we going to know what's true and what is not? And you might think this is very difficult to achieve for someone like you or like me, but it is not. Look, you can just get a piece of software, create a fictional character, and start impersonating her. Today, they're impersonating her. Tomorrow, they will be impersonating you or me. And on this one, I don't really see an upside. I am worried, and we need to put regulation in place to mitigate the negative impacts of this. Which takes me to the last sin. Control, the rogue entity. AI is going to take over and destroy humanity. Why are we so afraid of it? This is why. Because we've never seen anything coming at us so fast and so quickly. Look at the data. It took 37 years for electricity to get to half of US households. 21 years for the smartphone. 10 months for ChatGPT. So of course we're afraid. But I would like to argue this is not the first time we see something like this. Who here remembers Y2K, the millennium bug? You remember? Okay, for the younger demographics, on the 1st of January 2000, all computers would stop and all type of chaos would ensue. Look at the coverage. It seems a bit like a joke, doesn't it? Well, it seems like a joke now, but I bet at the time they were feeling exactly as we are feeling today. But they managed it. They put processes in place, and as a result, nothing happens. So control. We can either fear AI or manage it. These are the 7 cardinal sins of AI. And at the end of each one of them, I have given you a choice. You can either do this or that. But if there's something I want to ask of you today, is to forget the or and embrace the end. Because hallucination is also creativity. We can rely on AI for some things and be without it for others. And yes, bias can be amplified, but it can also be spotted and busted. Some jobs will be lost, others will be created. We can invest resources now and reap the benefits later. And yes, we will be living in a world when knowing what's the truth is going to be harder than ever. But we can control it. It's in our hands. So we gotta try with AI. Why? Because of what this famous philosopher called Pink said. Just because it burns doesn't mean you're gonna die. You gotta get up and try, try, try. So we gotta try with AI. Because you know what? Some things in life are worth sinning for.